Yeah, Zoe will be in tier one. Absolutely. Tier one is going to be Targon champs. Targon, in my opinion, um, it's the best set to play in Expedition. So we want Azir, Zoe, and I'm going to be fiddling around with this the best until we get it exactly how I want it to be. Leona is Targon, and she's solid. But she doesn't really do anything interesting, so she's probably not an A. We can just do this. Like that's an easy one, right, guys? What else? Fiora used to be amazing. She's still not bad. Where's the rest of Targon? You're not Targon. Who is this? Is that Tarek? Tarek is Targon, but he's also like, he's not great. Yeah. Talia will go over here. Like, don't pick, you pick Talia if you're like, you want to have fun. But don't pick Talia if you want to win. I mean, if you're really good and want to challenge yourself, pick Talia. So that is six. There's one more Targon champion. Which Targon champion am I missing? I also think Fizz is like here. I don't like Fizz. Shen. Aphelios. Oh yeah, that's so Aphelios like pre-nerf would be up here. Post-nerf, he's not bad. I would put him above Leona. That's kind of like where I would put Targon champs. I think I'm still missing one more. Isn't the whole point of expeditions to have fun? Well, it depends. Some people like to have fun and win. Some people winning is fun. So, and maybe you need some more gems. So I always try hard in expeditions, and try harding expeditions has helped me win seasonals. So maybe you should try to be good at expeditions too. Yeah, Soraka, thank you. Let's find Soraka. Here she is. Yeah, Soraka's bad. I'd say she's worse than Tarek. Um, she she's not terrible though. Like you can healing something up is pretty good. But yeah, a 1/6, it's just gonna get blocked a lot. Like you have a lot of decks in Expedition that just have fatties. So yeah, she's not great. She's still Targon. And Targon has invokes and invokes win expeditions. You play a bunch of like 8, 9 mana dragons with Shroud, you're gonna win. Yeah, Ruben Pile is an expedition deck. Or it's a Targon Invoke deck. So that's probably why I did so well with it. Let's do. I'm a big fan of Demacia and Piltover in Expedition, as well as Bilge Water. So, I'm going to put my pet favorite card in Expedition pretty high. Lux is really good. Lux stalls the board really well. If ASOL didn't exist, she might actually have a place in the metagame, but ASOL is just a better win condition than Lux will ever be. Riot, please buff Lux. I don't know how, but buff her. But she is really, really solid. You do have to draft more spells. Elise A tier. Um, I am going to heavily disagree with that. I just played an expedition earlier, Deja Vu. So Elise is good. So when I'm thinking about a champion in expedition, champions just win you games. Elise, she gets you some early tempo, but she usually does not win the game. Um, and there's a lot of just random 3 mana 3/3s in Expedition. Like I'll throw any 3 mana 3/3 in a deck. And what does Elise do against a 3 mana 3/3? Like nothing. So I Elise I would actually like put her in D. But anyway, we're gonna finish up Demacia. Fiora is still solid. It's not that hard to win with her second win condition, even with 2 toughness, because you have so many ways to protect her. And even if you just attack, you can often trade up with her. Demacia is also just pretty solid. Demacia is good because you have Screeching Dragon is why Demacia is good. Screeching Dragon is insane. You also have the 5 mana 5/4 Challenger, not as good as Screeching Dragon, but like also very good. Like Demacia, you're playing for 5 drops. 5 drops in Demacia are like, Garen solid. I would put Garen. I think I would put Garen ahead of Aphelios. Even Garen is quite good. If you have tricks to protect him, he's not hard to level up. If you have like multiple Garens, uh, you get Judgment, and Judgment blows out a lot of players. So that's why Garen's so amazing. Quinn is like here. She's fine. Like I'll play her, but I'm never excited to play Quinn. The 3/4 body is too much of a liability. She is really hard to flip. Fowler's nice, you'll get a little trade in with her, but I'm never excited for a Quinn. Um, who else is this from Demacia? Uh, no, is this Charvin? Who is this? Diana. Diana S tier, yes. Diana is S tier. Um, she's Targan. Uh, B, she is just solid for tempo. Like you are killing something with her always, and then they have to use something else to kill her. And if you get enough Nightfall, like when you're playing Diana, you get offered so many uh, Cascade, like the Moonlight Cascade +1/+1 draw card. I've had so many decks where you have 5 of those. And yeah, I have never had Jarvan in Expedition, but he's good. He's definitely like solid. I think I would put him here. I'd be happy to take him as a champion, especially after the buff. I think I played him once pre-buff and he was fine. And some of his supporting cards are very good as well. He's not insane. If you get like Jarvan the third, probably then you move him up to S. But I kind of when I play Expedition, I'm looking at cards in isolation as well as just the overall goodness of the region. Um, Lucian. Lucian. Lucian is okay. Um, Not bad. Can win you games. A lot of the time doesn't win you the game. Where's Lucian? Lucian. This is painful, guys. I don't see Lucian. Do you guys see Lucian? I think Lucian's missing. That's Zed. Beside Lulu. Alright. I must be blind. Lulu is... There's Lulu. Oh, there's Lucian. Oh, yeah, it's this level up one. I would put him above Tarek and Soraka. Lucian's, I'd say, pretty average. Like, you can do busted things with him. Um, you kind of have to focus on being aggressive for Lucian to work well. If you can pair Lucian with Shadow Isles, like he definitely goes up in value, but Lucian is not super flexible. If you get some Sennas, he gets better as well. Lucian is excellent with Callista. Callista will probably go pretty high. I haven't played Callista in a long time, but when I first played Expedition, like I would just win with Callista and what's that 7 mana 4/4 that brings her back, and then you level her and brings her back some more. That combo is insane. The order of champs looks alphabetical. Okay, that's a good tip. So do we have Demacia 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Are we missing anyone from Demacia? Don't think so. Is there only just 6 of every champion? Um, that's Nocturne. Shyvana. I played Shyvana. Shyvana is solid. Shyvana, uh, I I think I would put her here. Um, Actually, no, I'm even gonna put her in S, especially after the buff. Dragons are like when you pick Shyvana, you get more dragons. So you're getting, some of those that challenger dragon. You're getting like if you can level her, you've probably won the game. So you want to protect her, but she's not hard to protect because she is quite big. She does take some work, like you don't win with her automatically, but she's not easy for your opponent to kill. Like Shyvana's very, very solid. Uh, I would recommend not passing her. SI champions are all one um, except Elise. Okay, well let's do SI next because I'm not really sure I agree with that. Like Hecarim, I have to think a little bit about Hecarim. Definitely, Callista's very good. Um, but I think I like Shyvana better. Hecarim, I would put him in B. He. So the problem with Hecarim, when he's at his best, he's amazing, right? Like you can sometimes just get huge synergistic draws. He is so inconsistent, and you get offered a lot of garbage. Sometimes you just get a lot of the spells that only make ephemerals, um, and you don't get other cards that synergize well. So he is a high risk, high reward. I'm gonna put him there. Um, Thresh is amazing. Thresh is, I don't think he's A, like he's just always solid. I'm always happy to pick him. But he is quite good. He's just like he's always like trading with two cards. If you can, he puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. If you can level him up, you have a very good shot of winning the game. Yeah, someone's mentioned Maokai. No, I disagree. I think Maokai is quite good. Um, Not as good as Thresh. I like him better than Lucian. I like him better than Fiora. Um, 4 toughness is not that easy to deal with. Um, After the turn you play him, um, he's just constantly like you're getting free trades. Plus, if your opponent never deals with him, um, you're eventually just going to flip him and win the game. The one thing I have against Maokai, is if you play him when you just have 2 champions, he, you are very likely to mill yourself. So he is risky. Once you're at your third, you're adding your like 4th champion, you're fine. You have enough cards in your deck that you're probably safe, but that's kind of the only downside I see to him. Yeah, you lose tempo the turn you play him, but you make it up the next couple of turns. He also forces your opponent to open attack, which can benefit you quite a bit. Yeah, he's not bad at all. Nocturne, I think he sucks. Um, he's just, he's not like, Diana is just easier. Like, A, she's in a better region. SI is like up there. It's probably the second or third best region. But they're like Targon is just, it does everything. SI does like almost everything. Um, with Nocturne, you just get kind of pigeonholed in your deck. He's also like, he's hard. Like, he's a lot harder to flip than Diana, in my opinion. Like, it's hard to be able to attack with 5 Nightfalls. Nightfalls don't survive very well, whereas Diana, you like, even if you don't flip her, she's still fine. Um, they both have good champion spells, but Nocturne, I'm just for 5 mana, like 3 toughness. He's fine. I'll put him above Quinn. I don't like Quinn that much. Actually, I do like him better than Soraka. So I think Soraka, you're getting downgraded. Um, who else do we have from SI? Kindred's interesting. Kindred is like, on paper, she looks so good in practice. She's just meh. That's about the only thing I can say about her. Like, I'll put her there. Uh, like when you play against Kindred, you just don't block for a little bit, but like taking 4 damage from a 5/5. Also, like Demacia and Targan can just play bigger creatures. I mean, if you just hit the sweet spot and get like the right removal, she will win the game. But she's a little bit awkward. Who else do we have from SI? I think that's everyone. Yeah, that looks like everyone. I'm gonna do one of my favorites next, which is Bilgewater. Gangplank is a B. Um, he's decent. He can flip and take over the game. Bilgewater is solid. It's kind of like Bilgewater to me is just, it's the poor man's Targon. It kind of does everything, but just not as well. Um, who else? Nautilus, also okay. I love Nautilus. You can get like some really insane decks with Nautilus, but again, he doesn't always work well. He's not super flexible. If you can make him work. Like he's similar to Hecarim, but I'd say less risky than Hecarim. Because the cards he goes with, they synergize a little bit more safely. Yeah, he's tough to level. He's pretty useless before he levels, but like a lot of the other sea monsters are really solid. Like Abyssal Eye, even before Deep, is good. And you know, he is in a region that has a lot of card draw as well. Um, and so he has a lot of support even without all the deep stuff. Next, SI com Tom Kench is low. Tom Kench is like high D. Problem with Tom is like if you don't level him up, the things you ate, your opponent's getting back. So he's just kind of delaying the inevitable. You need to pair him with healing for him to be good, and you're not always going to get that offered. 4 mana 2/6 is fine. I think I like Elise better than him. He's someone like he just needs too many specific cards to work. And if you don't get him offered early, he's not doing anything. MF is really solid. Um, MF is either A or B. Uh, I I think she's B. You know, the problem with MF is like you have to like leveling her, it's very hard to level her fast in Expedition because you're not always going to be. It might be easier now with Blades coming out, so she might go up if you compare her with Ionia. Um, but you don't really get offered that many scouts. Three toughness is not that hard to deal with, and her biggest weakness, in my opinion, is you often can't attack with her because your opponent is going to be able to trade with her, and you're like, well, I'm trading my 3/3 for my opponent's 3/2. Like that's just not good. That being said, like she pairs with a lot of other cards really well. Bilgewater is solid. Yeah, I'd put her right behind Thresh. Um, TF is definitely S even after the nerf. Um, he's just efficient. Like I put him above Diana. Like I am never sad. I've played so many 4 TF decks. Even if you don't level him, he's just like you're always ahead in cards when you play him. He's good. Um, I'm a big fan of TF. Who else do we have from uh, from TF set? I think that's it. No, 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 no. Yeah, okay, that's it. All right. So let's do Freljord since there's a bunch up here. Anivia's solid. Um, slow, but the thing about Freljord is you can like it's easy to stall out the game with Freljord. Um, she's not like amazing, but she's definitely not bad. I think I would put her here. You know, your opponent, like you're often gonna 2 to 3 for one with her. The one thing that's going against her is Freljord is not the best in Expedition. It's solid, it's not the worst. It's not Shurima, um, but not the best either. Braum, I'm a huge fan of Braum. Braum synergizes well with himself. A lot of decks just can never deal with him. He's not that hard to level. He goes really well with Noxious because you have more ways to pump him up. He's great with Riven. Um, he also just, you know, I'm definitely biasing this to my play style, which is like I want to control the board. He controls the board really well. I definitely like him better than MF. Ash is also really solid. I would put her, my A tier is looking a little too big. We might have to move a few things down. Um, Ash, not too hard to protect. Really great with challengers. So she pairs really well with Demacia. Everything I find pairs really well with Demacia because you're just getting great creatures. Demacia protects her really well with all the shields and pump spells. She's pretty solid and she can just win the game if you level her up. Um, Sedge also very solid. Definitely better than actually I think Sedge I put right here. Sedge is just, you know, there's no like super great synergies with Sedge. But she's just like you're often 2 for 1ing. She fits in everything. Um, I think she standalone is a better card than Thresh. Thresh just is in a better region than Sejuani. Aphelios, no, he definitely doesn't suck. You have to think, you can't think of him like the same way um, you think of him pre-nerf. He is a late game card. You are losing tempo, but Aphelios, if you do not answer him, he will take over the game. So when you're drafting Aphelios, you want to be thinking, I need the rest of my deck to be efficient. I need it to not be top end heavy. He's going to just generate me a lot of card advantage, and he's going to give you a lot of versatility. He's going to gain you life where you need life. He's going to like 3 mana, deal 3 damage to a non-champion is really good in Expedition. And he does more than that consistently. Uh, I don't think he's similar to Karma. Um, Karma's in Ionia, and I like Ionia is bad. Karma is also a 6 mana 4/3. Um, so you're paying double the mana for one less health. So she is really vulnerable. She can be okay. But she just you'll see when I do Ionia. She's not gonna be high. Spoiler. Who else do we have from earlier? Liss. Um, Liss is actually I remember playing Liss a couple times, being very excited. She is not that good. Not like in constructed. Um, Sometimes you just don't get the 8 drops. Sometimes the game is over by then. I definitely put her like here. A 2/3 with toughness is fine. But yeah, she doesn't take over the game like she does in constructed. And she is really hard to level. If you do resolve 4 8 drops in Expedition, you've probably already won anyway. But she's not useless. She's just like an ally, really. And like the 8/8 that you get after 8 turns, the landmark, it can be relevant if you play her on turn 3. Trundle, however, he's awesome. Trundle is like, I think he's even above that. Trundle is like, I think I put Trundle here. Like, he's just easy to level up. Once he levels up, he takes over the game. You play him, your opponent like can't attack. If you have a troll chant or something in hand, like you just make your opponent waste so many cards. He's really good. He's solid. Tryndamere is Tryndamere costs. I can't even remember if he costs 8 or 9. I think he costs 9. Um, it's a lot. He's fine. He's perfectly playable. Um, but he's not that exciting, and there's a lot of allies that do similar things. He definitely can win you the game, but he's just gonna sit in your hand for most of the game. I would not recommend him at all. We'll do Piltover next. Jinx, in my opinion, is low. Jinx is like there. You're not running out of cards in Expedition. Unless you were really building around her, but it's hard to get offered the right cards to build around her. 4/3 first strike it's nice, just like a 2/3 fear is nice. But she's too specific. Um, Heimerdinger though, pre-nerf he was like here for me. Like Heimerdinger Lux, uh, fantastic. Now just Targon outclasses Heimerdinger, so I don't think I can put him in S. I don't think I can put him. I think I would put him right here. Um, Heimerdinger is like, he's very much like Lux in that he's just going to give you inevitability if you play spells, but he's vulnerable. You have to be careful, you want to kind of wait for your opponent to tap out before you play him. Because even if you get a like one spell off, he's not bad. And he will just win you the game, especially if you play an 8+ cast spell. So he's good, but not quite S tier. Vi is solid. So Vi, like you see these 5 champs here. These are like my always good champs. Like they they're challenging things and trading really well. I like Piltover better than Freljord, but I like SI better than Piltover. Top decking her as a 2/4 is like kind of sad. But she can also be a lot more threatening than Thresh, especially if she's in your opening hand. Like, you don't mulligan Vi in your opening hand ever. And her spell, like, it seems really weak, but it can win you games because you'll often have elusive. Victor sucks. It's not terrible. I love Victor as a card. He's a lot of fun. Problems with Victor is that he's unreliable. You have to play him and invest a lot of mana in him for him to do anything. Like he's a 4 mana 2/4. And like at 6 mana, then he's a 4/4 with 2 random abilities. And what happens if those 2 random abilities are like not elusive, basically? Like he's awkward. Once you've played like 4 or 5 of his augments, he starts to get threatening. But you've spent so much time doing nothing that he sets you back a lot. His big advantage is that he's just giving you cards to discard to other things. That's what I'd say I'd like about Victor. Um, who else? Teemo. I like Teemo. I want to put him here. Like Teemo's just fun. He's not there. Teemo is definitely solid. Um, he's B. He's B. He can win you the game. He can do nothing. Again, you need to draft around him. You need to either be drafting with puff caps. He's great if you can get the Hex Tech landmark that draws you lots of cards. So you can keep putting on pressure. He's great with Freljord spell-based decks. He is a 1 mana 1/1. He'll often just die right away and do nothing. So yeah, he's fine. He's fun. I like him. Um, who else do we got? Sad, that's all Ionia. Noxious, I think that's it. All right. Oh no, we have Ez. Ez kind of sucks. I'm gonna put him here. He's not terrible. He's just so you can play like a spell-based deck, like where you're removing a lot of things. The problem with that deck, like it's better to just play strong allies because allies, like you're always putting pressure on your opponent. They're just more versatile. If you're pairing him with like SI, sometimes your removal does not line up with your opponent's threats, and you get overwhelmed. And you're really going to struggle with something like Targon, which is just never going to run out of threats. And targeting 6 things, like a lot of the time in Expedition, you're only going to have 10 to 12 spells. So drawing half of those spells, you're on like he's slow. I mean, you are like getting the mystic shots off of him, but he doesn't have a big body. He's fun. I enjoy picking him up, but I don't think he's very strong. Um, all right, that's it. So we'll do Noxious next. Yeah, so this is kind of region based as well, but I can do region based after. That'll be pretty simple. Um, all right, cat can go here. Cat is bad. Cat, I think, don't take her. She will lose you games more than you win games. Cat, like you play 3 mana, she bounces to your hand. You have lost so much tempo. Um, sure, you can do some crazy things later with her. She's not useless, but I don't want Cat in my deck. She sucks. LeBlanc, on the other hand, is real good. She's like here. We'll probably bump some of these down, like Fiora. Fiora got nerfed. She can go down. Maokai can go down. Leona can go down. Actually, she's better than Aphelios. She's like here. She's just like she's actually very similar to Ashe in that she's just going to put so much pressure on your opponent um, that like they're going to be forced into bad blocks. She has 2 toughness, so she's not hard to kill. She does nothing on defense, like she's very bad on defense. So if you're behind, like she is not versatile. Yes, Lux is good. Lux is fantastic. She's great offensively. She's great defensively. The turn you play her, you can attack with her, and you're doing 4 damage. You get a free block with her, and she takes over the game if your opponent cannot answer her. The 4 damage is really, really good. Lux is definitely top tier. Who else we got? Draven's solid. I think Draven, um, definitely not as solid as LeBlanc. I'd put him here. The axes are nice. Uh, he does just kind of fall off, after turn 6 or so, because he won't have the cards to discard to his axes. But he does give some good early game pressure. His spell is fantastic. Yeah, he's pretty good. Riven, I think, is worse. Riven's fine. She's a 3 mana 3/4, so she's just like decent. Noxious, like as a region, I don't think it's very good. It doesn't. It's better with its new draw spell, but overall, it usually loses to the other like Bilgewater and Targon that have a lot of card advantage, and it's hard to force in the damage in Expedition because um, your decks they're not constructed right. They're going to have some awkward spells, they're going to have some awkward draws, but Riven's fine. Riven's like decent, not amazing, not terrible. I actually like Darius better than all of these. I'm a bit of a Timmy player. Darius can just win you the game. He doesn't do anything special. Like he is almost just like an ally, but he's pretty good. Um, Swain, I think, is a lot better. He is hard to level up, but a 3/6 fear for 6 is a really nice stat line. And he forces your opponent to have blockers up for him. He's not amazing, um, but he's pretty solid. I should probably put him after Aphelios. Uh, Vlad is not great, not terrible. He has a 5 mana 5/5. Yeah, I'm fine moving Hecarim down and sad about moving Nautilus down, but he's not that good. Who else do we have from Noxious? That looks like it. All right. We'll leave the newer champs for last. Yasuo, I actually think is high. He is deceptively good. Um, even if you don't get the stuns, like a 4 mana 4/4 first strike is a fantastic body. Actually, he's higher than this. He's probably Ionia's best champion. Um, so the thing about Yasuo is he is so scary to play against. Your opponent, even if you don't have stuns, your opponent is going to do silly things to try and kill him because of the threat Yasuo has. And unlike constructed, you can make really sick decks with Yasuo, and you're often going to be offered them. And I think he's probably even better tomorrow because there's so many more stun cards that are coming out. Um, Karma's Karma's pretty bad. I would put her above Soraka. Karma just has an awful body. The one thing I do like about her, um, like A, she's super fun. B, she can take over the game. But her body is just it's really bad. She like getting to 10 mana with Ionia is hard. Like Ionia cards are just they're pretty bad. There's a lot of inconsistencies with them. If you excuse me, if you do play Ionia, actually Zed is really good. Um, So the best way to play Expedition with Ionia is aggressively with elusives. Like draft a deck or make a deck with five duos. That card's really good. I would put him just under Yasu, not quite as strong, but like, your opponent has to answer Zed very quickly, or they're going to be in trouble. Zed's quite good. Um, Lee Sin, I hate Lee Sin, but also he sucks in expeditions. 8 spells is a lot, and Ionian spells aren't really that good. He really needs Targon to do well. Not unplayable. He's probably better than Quinn and Soraka. I think I'm gonna even do that. Not unplayable, but very hard to make work. If you can make him work, like you can make a really good deck with him. But Lee Sin is yeah, hard to make work for sure. Um, Shen's quite good. Shen is like medium. He's solid, better than Vlad, better than Lucian. Put him about here. Um, yeah, he's amazing with Demacia. Um, Not that great with anything else, to be honest. Similar with Lulu, who's like a bad Shen. I'd probably put Lulu in C. Um, you can get great aggro decks with her, but they fall off very fast. And again, Ionia is just you get offered a lot of bad cards in it. Yeah, as Karma disrespect. Yeah, I mean, is as Karma good anymore? No. And lastly, we've got Shurima. So I'm gonna rate these cards lower than they actually are because Shurima is not good. Sivir is definitely the best. She is a better card than LeBlanc, but her support in Shurima isn't good. I think she's better than Teemo. She's a really solid She's a really solid card. You're in Shurima. Shurima is bad. Azir is not good. His body isn't good. Um, he's hard to level up in Expedition. He's better than Jinx. Can't drag him over. But he's not exciting. Renekton's fine. Like Renekton is you have to play some bad cards to make him do well, and if you don't draw him, it's really awkward. Um, I never want to play Renekton. I think he's C. Nasus, however, like he's okay. You kind of want to be an SI, so he's not flexible. His champ spell is pretty great. Um, but he's hard to level up as well. Like games are a lot slower and less synergistic, and that's a good point. Like you have very different opinions, so I will say this: um, you gotta play to your play style more than anything else. I'm a mid-range player. Uh, so nothing really beats ASOL in mid-range, right? Like if you're just trading things, you drop ASOL, you win the game. Um, I'm not an aggro player. I'll play aggro if I tend to getting offered Ionia early, and Ionia is the best stuff that I'm getting, but I don't really enjoy playing aggro. And Ionia I think can only either be aggro or a Yasuo stun deck that are going to be solid. Ionia control isn't very good. I mean, there's some things that, yeah, I could argue. Actually, I don't think Diana is that good. Probably rate her. You know what? I'm gonna move Diana a lot lower. Um, she's Targon. Targon's amazing. She's solid. Actually, she's better than Humberdinger. So these are like these five champions here are just they're so good. Actually, all of these because they're just so versatile. But really, these top two rows are like these are champions that either just they win you the game because they themselves are so strong, or they grant you so many good trades or tempo that puts you really far ahead. None of these other champions are capable of doing that easily. So yeah, that's how I would um, rate the champions. So I'll save this. I don't want to save this. I'll just download the image, maybe post it somewhere later. If I were to rate the regions, so let's reset this, and we'll just do, all right, so we definitely want a cell representing Targon. Heimerdinger's like the best representation of PNZ. Uh, I want Garen for Demacia. Uh, Noxious is Darius. We'll put his here. He's like the boss of Shurima, right? Most of these are seems to be, yeah, just a stat line. I agree, stat line is important, but even if you only have a couple stuns in your deck, playing Yaosu and then getting an extra 2 damage is really good. So we are missing. We want TF for Bilgewater. Fairliord can be. Yeah, it doesn't really. I want Ash for Fairliord. So that is 7. We are missing SI, and we are missing Ionia. Uh, who do I want for Ionia? I guess no. Karma can't represent Ionia. Karma, she's not my bay. Maybe Yasuo. Where's Yasuo? Oh, he should be near the bottom because it's alphabetical. Okay. So Targon is number 1 easily. Um, and so Targon is so good because it can do everything and it has so many cards that do not lose you tempo. so that like it has amazing two drops. Um, that you and even like it has good one drops that you play to gain tempo, and then you use invoke to take over the game. And it has so many win conditions through invoke um, that your opponents can't deal with. That'll win you the game. It's so versatile. If your opponent stumbles against Targon, they've lost. Like you can only beat Targon with really good pressure, unless your opponent's Targon isn't good. But Targon, I think, is just insane in Expedition. I was really happy when Riot they reduced the offering rate for the number of invokes you're supposed to get, which helps. But it's still just it's really good. Its champions are also all pretty good. Um, Bilgewater, Demacia. Actually, this is hard. This is kind of like I like all of these, so I have to think a little bit more about them. This is definitely bottom tier. Um, I do not like that one. Okay, so um, strengths and weaknesses. Like Bilgewater is good because it does everything pretty well. It has removal, it has big creatures, it has elusives, it has tempo, it has card advantage. It's kind of the jack of all trades. But in my opinion, it does everything worse than Targon does. Um, it's maybe a little bit it can be a little bit better at tempo and it has more synergy with itself than Targon does. I like it a lot, but I actually think it's fallen out of favor and not that good. Um, yeah, so I think it's something like this. Demacia, like Screeching Dragon, uh, and Concerted Strike are why Demacia are so good, as well as its five drops. It's five drops. Like when I play Demacia, I want like six five drops. You play five drops in Demacia, the other regions cannot handle it. Like what does SI do against Screeching Dragon or even the 5/5 with one toughness. Even the one that has Scout, I should be looking up their names. That card, like it's a lot of these other, like the only other one that does have that can compete well is Noxious. The problem with Noxious though is its challengers suck. Its spells are really bad. It's just not able to get card advantage very well, and its upper end is much worse than Demacia's upper end. So to me, like Noxious has reach, that's its advantage over Demacia. But Demacia is just it's going to win by just out allying um, all the other regions. Um, SI are could be considered better. SI has a lot of synergy. SI is really good because of all of its removal and vengeance. Vengeance, like it's expensive, but there are a lot of cards in Expedition that a lot of decks just lose to. So having Vengeance as a get a free jail card is really nice. And SI has a lot of card advantage as well. The Rekindler is amazing. Like if you see Rekindler, you should always be thinking about taking it. Because SI like it can last until turn 7, no problem. And if you play a champ, it dies and get it back. Like it puts you really, really, really far ahead. And it's really solid with Callista. Um, yeah, then you can these are just a little bit weaker. Their allies are not as strong. I would actually put Freljord after P and Z because Freljord is it's very narrow and has a lot of weaknesses. Um, you don't have any way to deal with elusives. You don't have any card advantage. Your tempo is okay. Like, yeah, you can play Trapper on turn 3 and get lucky and get your Yeti early. It has a lot of like cheap things, like all the 1 mana like elixirs and brittle steels and stuff are amazing for tempo. But you have a window with Freljord, and if you miss out on that window, you're going to just lose to card advantage or bigger stuff because you have a good medium game, but you don't have as big allies as like Targon does or Demacia does. PNZ is a bit of a wild card. I like PNZ. PNZ to me is a support region. Um, it it just has an amazing, efficient removal base. Mystic Shot. It's great to have multiples of that. I don't like explosive. Um, what's it called? I want to call it engineered explosive. The 3 mana, deal 3. Just gonna look it up really fast. Uh, get excited. Get excited is like not a card I'm super happy to take, but it's good. Ballistic Bot is insane. That definitely brings P and Z up a lot. And I also feel Thermogenic Beam is really, really good in Expedition because it's so versatile. Like deals with Teemo, yeah. Gotcha is also quite solid. Like you draw Gotcha, like and play it for 2 mana, it's insane. And yeah, that's a good point. It's a second Vengeance, Thermogenic Beam. You don't have to worry as much as in Constructed about spending all of your mana. So PNZ is such a good supporting region. Then I kind of talked about Bilgewater a little bit before. Does a little bit of everything, has a lot of ways it can win. TF is still a really solid champions. All of its champions are, kind of decent to pretty good. None of them are like winning you the game on their own, except for a level TF, and it is not that hard to level TF in Expedition. Not super easy, but it's going to happen, and all of his spells are quite good. And then Noxious, if you're an aggro player, like take Noxious. It's not bad. It's definitely like not unplayable. But it doesn't do. The only thing it does better than anything else is like burn directly to the dome, but that is not a very like it's not versatile. If your opponent is able to like line up removal and blockers well, you're gonna lose. So it's not super flexible. Um, you gotta kind of try and put pressure on and win early. Its champions are not super exciting. It's fine. It's okay. And then you have Ionia and Shurima. Ionia just it's got so much garbage in it. There are a lot of good cards in it, but you're going to be forced to take cards that are awkward. They're not very strong. My you can, the best way to win with Ionia is definitely elusives. You can sometimes get offered a really nice elusive deck. But that deck is going to lose to PNC. It's going to struggle versus SI. It's even going to struggle if it's not very often that people are taking avalanches. Um, but if they do, that rare case, you're just going to get wrecked and you're not going to be able to recover because you're kind of forced to go wide. And then Shurima is just it's not fully fleshed out yet. The set tomorrow is going to make it a little bit better. Um, but a lot of its spells are awkward. Um, it doesn't really have any card advantage. It doesn't really have a great late game. It has a decent like mid game. Um, but Shurima has an identity problem. Um, we'll see. Maybe it'll get better with the next expansion and the expansion after it. But I like to avoid Shurima. I don't think it's great in expeditions right now. That being said, uh, have fun with the expeditions. Play things like experiment. Try to have fun. Don't worry about getting your seven wins too much with it. I think expedition is just it's a great format to learn the game. It's not too high stress. And once you've played your three expeditions for the week, you can play like I've had weeks where I'll play like 10 expeditions. And I think that is a really good thing that Riot has done to just let you kind of explore and enjoy the format at no cost. But yeah, that's it. That's my opinion on expeditions, how I would rate the champions and the regions.